Hi everyone, welcome back to my Inain's Forensic Classroom. In the last video, we talked about the admissibility of evidence in court. So today we are going a step ahead and talking about something extremely important, which is expert testimony and the Frye Standard, which is one of the earliest and most influential rules used to judge whether expert evidence can be trusted in court. So let's get started. So let's start with expert testimony. So let's start with a simple question. When a judge or a jury doesn't have the scientific or technical knowledge to understand something complex in a case, who helps them? In such cases, the court takes help from an expert witness. So an expert witness is someone who has special knowledge or skill in a particular field like medicine, handwriting, fingerprint, ballistics, DNA or digital forensics. So this is mentioned under section 45 of Indian Evidence Act, which is now included in section 39 of Bharatiya Sakshya Adhiniyam 2023. So basically, expert helps the court make sense of the complicated facts. So if there is a murder case and a blood stain is found on a weapon, so a forensic serologist is called to test and explain whether the blood matches the victim. So forensic serologist becomes the expert here. Now, if there is a cyber crime involving data tampering, so the digital forensic analyst will be the expert. Now, the digital forensic expert will examine the devices and they will explain how the data was stolen or altered. So, if there is a dispute about a person's handwriting or a signature, so the expert would be the handwriting expert who is called in to see if the signature is genuine or forged. So, in short, the experts are basically like the teachers for the court. They simplify the technical details, simplify technical details so that the judge can make a fair and informed decision. So their role is to help the court understand facts that require special knowledge. So things that normal people, including judges, they might not fully grasp. Now moving ahead, let's see what expert testimony is in the eyes of law. So when it comes to expert testimony, so the law looks at it a bit differently from normal witness statements. So a normal witness, for example, an eyewitness who is a normal witness, so they can talk about what they personally saw or heard. For example, they say, I saw the accused at the scene or I heard the gunshot. But an expert witness is, they don't talk about what they saw. They give an opinion, they give an opinion based on their scientific or technical knowledge. For example, a fingerprint expert might say the ridge patterns on the print they found on the crime scene match the fingerprints of the accused. So see, that's not a random guess. It is a trained scientific opinion which is based on analysis. So courts can rely on such opinions if they are properly supported with evidence and reasoning. So, however, see, experts are still human. They can make mistakes, or two experts might have two different opinions. So the court has to decide, is this expert's opinion reliable enough to be accepted as evidence? And that's exactly where the Frye Standard comes in. It is basically a rule that is developed to help courts decide whether a scientific technique or expert opinion is trustworthy enough to be used in the court. So let's see the story behind the Frye Standard. So let's travel back to 1923, United States. So there was a man called as James Alfonso Frye. So he was accused of second-degree murder. Now his lawyer wanted to use a brand new scientific test to prove his innocence, something they call it as systolic uh, blood pressure deception test. So this test was basically an early version of what we know today as the lie detector or polygraph test. So the idea was that when a person lies, their blood pressure changes, and the test could catch that difference. So the defense said, see, if this test shows Frye is telling the truth, it should be accepted as a scientific proof. But the court didn't agree. They said, wait, this test hasn't yet gained general acceptance among the scientists. So, in other words, the scientific community itself hadn't reached a point where everyone agreed that the test was reliable. Now, because of that, the court rejected the test, and that one phrase, general acceptance in relevant scientific community, uh, became the foundation of what we now call as Frye Standard. Now understanding the Frye standard, what exactly does it mean? It means that before a scientific method or expert testimony is accepted in court, it must be generally accepted by the experts in that particular field. So in simple terms, the science that's used by the expert should not be something new, some untested theory, or some personal invention. So think of it like this: if you come up with a new experiment that you think works, but no other scientist agrees with you yet, so the court won't rely on it. It should be something that other experts in that area recognize as reliable and valid. So see, if someone uses a brand new, unverified technique that they only believe in, it may fail the Frye standard. Now, why Frye was important? You might be wondering, like, why was the Frye standard such a big deal? So, well, Frye became a kind of gatekeeper for the scientific evidence for many years. It made sure that only reliable and proven science could enter the courtroom. So think of it as a filter that stopped the courts from being flooded with random, untested, or junk science. So back in the early 1900s, before we had the proper forensic validation methods, anyone could, you can come and claim that technique was scientific. So someone could walk into the court and they can say, I can tell who's guilty just by reading their aura. And without a rule like Frye, they might have actually been considered. So the Frye standard protected courts from that kind of chaos. It said that if your method is trusted by other experts in your field, then we will trust them in the court too. So for decades, Frye became the benchmark for admitting expert testimony, especially in the forensic and scientific cases. Now, when we talk about the criticism of Frye, criticism of Frye standard. So to see, while the Frye standard was useful, but it wasn't perfect. So in fact, many legal experts started pointing out its flaws. So the bigger issue was Frye was too rigid. It was too strict. So it basically said we only accept the scientific method once everyone else does. So see, that sounds safe, but it also meant that new and reliable scientific techniques were often rejected just because they were still new. Okay, now imagine rejecting something as powerful as DNA evidence just because it wasn't famous enough yet. So that was the problem. Now, another big problem was the statement general acceptance. Now they said, who decides what's general? Which scientific community are we even talking about? Now, because different groups might have different opinions, so over time, courts realized that Frye was too outdated for modern science. It didn't keep up with how fast technology and research were growing. And that's what eventually led to the creation of new and more flexible system, the Daubert standard. So we will explore that in detail in the next video along with the Federal Rule 702, both of which completely changed how courts evaluate expert evidence today. So to sum it up, expert testimony helps court to understand complex technical facts, and the Frye standard laid the foundation for evaluating the scientific evidence by asking, is this method generally accepted? in the scientific community. It kept unreliable science out of the courtroom, though it also slowed down, new discoveries from being used just right away. And that brings us to the end of today's video. In the next video, we will explore how Frye Standard evolved into the Daubert Standard and Federal Rule 702, which are now used in modern courts, and how they shape the admissibility of forensic evidence worldwide. So make sure to like, share, and subscribe, and stay tuned to Inain's Forensic Classroom. See you in the next video. Bye.